Punch in the face. Oh, blow down, blow down, blow.
This is for all the people.
Who's getting pounded here? Who's getting pounded? Now a sexy little outfit, man.
That's it. Get the muscles down. Come on, Ellie. That's it.
What a step out there. Back in the room now.
You're right, Ellie. You're okay.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Left out. Good man. I'm going down again. Come on. Bill's flagging it a bit. He's flagging it.
Go on, Ellie.
Nobody wants to make a move.
Push it through.
Come on.
Come on.
Right.
Go on, smash it. Stop.
And it's on.
Back of the head. Come on.
Oh, go let it.
Uppercut.
Oh, how is it for 2 minutes, Ellie?
You know, come on. Doesn't like both.
Attack the flag now.
Remind me never to piss you off. Oh, join us, Ellie. You want to take this up? It's okay, just go for it. Let me just see if I can mitigate against that. Come on. I'm going to sit down. If I get you sitting there. Oh, thank you for the last match. I'll get into the reporter of it. So, right, Ellie, well, an absolute outstanding victory. How are you feeling? Tired. I'm surprisingly unfit. Oh, thank you. There's George. Okay. So, you didn't want to determine an outcome in your authorship.
Yeah.
Did you succeed in not authoring that outcome?
I'm not sure. I felt like my opponent was maybe being a little bit friendly and maybe letting me win a little bit. If I'm arrogant, I'd like to think that maybe that was just because they were tired and they weren't letting me win, but I think they might have been.
I think I can reasonably assure you there was no fight left in the lad.
I'm not surprised. It was a good feeling though.
What I really enjoyed about that match was the relinquishing of the politeness. Now, did you feel you achieved that?
Yeah.
Now, tell me how that happened for you. Give me the blow-by-blow account of that letting go of something.
I think I was sort of trying to work out. The first couple of seconds I was just trying to work out what the parameters were. It's very bouncy.
Yes. And hot.
And hot, which makes everything much harder work. But once I realised that the other person was prepared to fight me properly,
yes,
then I kind of...
So was that the permission?
Yeah, I think I needed a bit of like, is this actually... Yeah, okay, great, and then...
Because, I mean, you'd authored that. You said you genuinely wanted...
Yeah. Yeah, because otherwise it's no fun.
Well, I mean, it is interesting because we've had a fight tonight where I was asked, you know, our lad was just simply to make a disapproving noise and be hit. So, you know, people have wanted to play that in very different ways. We've had one in which somebody definitely wanted to lose but didn't want to give it over easily.
Yeah.
So, you know, it is quite interesting that you feel that actually you're the only person tonight that's actually asked for a genuine fight in which an outcome isn't a given.
Do you think that's because of the questions that are asked? Do you think that's because there's a... I don't know, I guess it's down to each individual person.
Absolutely. So what did you gain from that fight?
I think I feel like a small sense of achievement. I think I feel like a big sense of achievement, but I don't want to like be arrogant about it, so I'm trying to...
Well, I think, you know, you're now reverting to polite.
Well, exactly.
Have the impolite.
Well, but the impolite was for that space.
Yeah.
And then it's different again now.
Happy to re-adopt it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So who owned that fight? Who owns that?
Both the fighters own it.
Right.
Because they have extra ownership because they created the space in which the fight's going to happen. But I have extra ownership because I got to author it. So it's mutual.
Just unpack that a little bit further for me. I think that's really very interesting that there's two sides of ownership and two sides of overlapping ownerships are going on there.
Yeah, so there's a certain ownership that comes with creating that space and having been in that space and knowing how bouncy it is, knowing how the gloves are, knowing what's going to happen to a certain extent. There's an ownership that comes there. But then there's an ownership that comes with getting to decide how you want the fight to play out.
Yeah.
So actually that brings you to a mutual ownership. One person's not owning it more than the other, even if the person that set up the space is the person that gets the shit beaten out of them.
Yeah.
Because that was the person's choice and you're complicit in that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Is there any more observations about the experience or anything else you'd like to tell our viewers? I mean, I just think that was very, very interesting, set up some very interesting sort of issues right at the end.
Am I allowed to ask questions?
You can do what you like, it's yours, this.
What? How many times has this happened?
This is the first night it's ever happened.
Okay.
So you were eighth fight. In fact, actually ninth, because I did 2 fights with Alan.
Okay, and what's the gender split?
Oh, it's about 50-50, I reckon.
50-50.
There's Matthew and Edward.
I want a detailed
Alan,
data analysis.
Katie, Ed, Rhiannon, another Ed,
2, 3,
girl.
4,
So 1, 2, 3, 4 men. 1,
4, well,
2,
there must be 4.
So 4.
Yeah,
That's
50-50.
interesting.
So I think my final observation is that it's a very boundary space, which makes it very interesting. That people may behave in that space completely differently to the way that they behave in everyday life. So it's kind of like a suspension ritual.
Did you think, though, that you could write a narrative that had nothing to do with fighting?
Sorry?
Could you have written a narrative or authored a narrative within that space that had nothing to do with fighting? Or is it so written on the space that that's actually...
No, it's nice that it's about fighting. If it wasn't about fighting, it wouldn't be that interesting. I mean, well, it might, but what drew me to it as someone that is non-physically violent was the opportunity to be physically violent in a quite boundary and safe parameter space. Although if I do go out of here tonight and punch someone in the face, I will be holding you guys personally responsible.
It'd be interesting to see if we could claim on public liability for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be pushing pretty hard on that, just to warn you in advance.
You know, I think it's all part of the bringing the unpoliteness out of the ring somehow. I think you're now slipping. Well, Ellie, I want to thank you very much indeed for your sportsmanship. That was marvellous. Thank you. Thank you, Stuart.